and how to make sure your cruise vacation actually happens the way you planned it. What they did not know was that 3 of them were about to get denied boarding at the dock, with their luggage already on the ship, because of new cruise line rules nobody told them about. We are talking thousands of dollars, gone, just like that. Snaps fingers. And here is the wild part. This is happening to real people, right now, all across America, and the cruise lines are not exactly putting it in the newsletter. So today, we are breaking down every single thing that has changed for travelers over 65 heading into 2026, because honestly, someone has to say it out loud. We spent weeks digging through updated cruise policies, talking to travel agents, and tracking down passengers who got blindsided. Starting in 2026, several of the world's largest cruise operators have introduced or expanded what they call fitness to travel assessments. These are not simple checkbox forms anymore. They are detailed medical questionnaires that must be completed and, in many cases, signed off by a licensed physician before embarkation is permitted. For travelers over 65, the threshold for required medical clearance has been significantly lowered. Conditions that were previously considered manageable at sea, such as controlled hypertension, mild heart conditions, or early-stage respiratory issues, are now flagged for additional review. Some cruise lines have gone further by requiring travelers above a certain age to submit documentation from their doctor within 30 days of departure, confirming they are medically fit to travel. Failure to provide this documentation can result in being denied boarding with little to no refund. Beyond medical clearance, new mobility and independence standards are also being enforced more strictly. Passengers who require significant assistance with daily activities may now be required to travel with a designated companion who can provide that assistance, as cruise lines are clarifying that their staff are not obligated to serve as personal caregivers. This shift in policy language is subtle but consequential. It means that what was once an informal accommodation has now become a formal requirement with real consequences for non-compliance. The financial exposure for an uninsured or underinsured medical emergency at sea is staggering, and it disproportionately affects older travelers who statistically face higher medical risk during travel. Most basic travel insurance policies cap medical evacuation coverage at amounts that fall far short of real-world costs. A medical evacuation from a cruise ship in international waters can cost anywhere from $50,000 to over $200,000, depending on location and the complexity of the medical situation. Standard policies often cover only a fraction of that. For travelers over 65, pre-existing condition clauses become an even bigger obstacle. Many insurance providers define pre-existing conditions broadly, meaning that a health event on the ship that is even loosely connected to a prior diagnosis may not be covered. The window for purchasing comprehensive coverage that includes pre-existing condition waivers is also shrinking. Most policies require you to purchase within 14 to 21 days of your initial trip deposit to qualify for these waivers. Waiting until closer to departure, which many travelers do, eliminates this protection entirely. It is not just the cruise lines implementing new rules. Several popular cruise destinations are also tightening their entry requirements in ways that specifically affect older travelers. Some Caribbean nations have introduced health declaration requirements that go beyond what was previously asked at the port. Mediterranean countries, particularly those managing high tourist volumes, have begun enforcing stricter documentation checks for travelers arriving via cruise ship. Japan, which has become an increasingly popular cruise destination, has specific health and mobility requirements for shore excursion participation that can limit what older travelers are able to do once they arrive. Alaska cruise routes, beloved by many older travelers for their scenic beauty and relatively calm waters, are also seeing new regulations around shore excursion liability waivers that require travelers to self-certify their physical capability for various activities. The cumulative effect of these destination-level changes is that even if you successfully board your cruise, the experience at each port may be more restricted than you anticipated. Excursions you planned for, activities you looked forward to, and even simple disembarkation procedures may require additional steps or may be unavailable depending on your health documentation status. Compare at least 3 different policies before making a decision and read the exclusions section carefully. The single most important step you can take before booking any cruise in 2026 is to contact the cruise line directly and ask for their current health and fitness to travel policy in writing. Do not rely on what a travel agent tells you verbally, and do not assume that what applied to a previous cruise still applies today. Policies are being updated frequently, and having written confirmation protects you if a dispute arises. Schedule an appointment with your physician well in advance of your intended travel date. Discuss your travel plans openly. Ask whether your current health status would likely meet the cruise line's requirements, and request that your doctor provide a formal letter of medical clearance if needed. This letter should be on official letterhead, dated within 30 days of departure, and should specifically address your fitness for sea travel. When it comes to travel insurance, work with a specialist who focuses on senior travel coverage rather than purchasing a generic policy online. Ask specifically about medical evacuation limits, pre-existing condition waivers, and what the policy defines as a covered emergency. For some travelers, the new landscape of cruising in 2026 may genuinely make other forms of travel more appealing, at least temporarily. River cruising, for example, operates under a very different set of rules than ocean cruising. The ships are smaller, the medical situations are less extreme because you are never far from land, and the pace is generally more relaxed. Many river cruise operators have developed programs specifically designed for older travelers, with accessibility features and flexible itineraries that ocean cruises cannot always match. Land-based tours with reputable operators offer another strong alternative, particularly for travelers who want the social experience of group travel without the specific risks and restrictions of being at sea. All-inclusive resorts in destinations with strong medical infrastructure provide yet another option for those who want a relaxed, extended vacation without the logistical complexity of a cruise. None of these alternatives are inferior to cruising. They are simply different, and for some travelers in some circumstances they may actually deliver a better experience. The key is making an informed choice rather than defaulting to a cruise simply out of habit or because it worked well in the past. Who are still out there living boldly, booking boldly, and sailing into every horizon with their eyes wide open. Then this community was built for you. Subscribe today to receive expert guidance tailored specifically to your lifestyle, from the latest cruise line policy updates and insurance strategies to destination tips and health preparation advice that actually speaks to your experience. Every week, we cut through the noise and deliver the real information you need to travel smarter, safer, and with far greater confidence. You have earned the freedom to explore the world on your own terms, and we are here to make sure nothing stands in your way. Hit that subscribe button now and join thousands of like-minded travelers over 60